G'day guys, Dave Lee coming at you once again. In this video, I'll be taking a look at the latest release from Universal Pictures and the newest installment in the Jurassic Park franchise. Directed by J.A Bayona and starring Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard and Jeff Goldblum, it is Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom is the fifth entry in the Jurassic Park franchise and the follow-up to 2015's semi-reboot Jurassic World. After the destruction of the Jurassic World theme park, the park's dinosaurs are left to roam to their own accord for 3 years. However, when one of the island's dormant volcanoes becomes active, ex-park operations manager Claire Deering, now running a dinosaur protection group, is approached to launch a rescue mission by the estate of Benjamin Lockwood, the original partner of John Hammond, to relocate the dinosaurs to a new island where they can be looked after properly. Working outside the law, Claire recruits dino handler and animal behavioural specialist Owen Grady, as he may be the only one who can safely rescue the park's most precious animal, Blue, the velociraptor. However, when Claire and Owen arrive on the island, they soon realise that the Lockwood estate has ulterior motives with the rescued dinosaurs, and a second rescue op is launched to save the captured dinos from being auctioned off to the highest bidders. Jurassic Park is a franchise that many people, myself included, hold very dearly, but which in actuality only really has a few decent installments. The first Jurassic Park is an absolute masterpiece, however the following two kind of got progressively worse as they went along. Jurassic World, on the other hand, was a breath of fresh air and actually a bit of a relief for myself. I know that the movie was ill-received by some, but I really enjoyed it. I found it very exciting and very entertaining, and due to that, I had very high hopes for this next installment in the franchise. Unfortunately, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom does not live up to the hype and could quite possibly be the most lackluster and disappointing movie in the entire series. That's not to say it's any worse than Jurassic Park 3, but that's a movie that everyone kind of expected to be a disappointing movie. I have criticised the Jurassic Park franchise in the past for its unoriginality when it comes to rehashing the same ideas over and over again. I mean, really, how many times do we need to send people back to the park? And while Fallen Kingdom does centre around sending people back to the park, for the most part, it does actually make somewhat of an effort to escape this tried and tested formula. But the problem is, it goes about it in the wrong way. Fallen Kingdom is quite easily the most blockbustery of all the Jurassic Park movies. It's big, it's bombastic, and offers non-stop action. Yes, all Jurassic Park movies are blockbusters, but for the most part, they've had style and substance. The first movie in particular is a masterclass in how to create a suspenseful and truly frightening monster movie with a lot of heart and humanity. Fallen Kingdom, on the other hand, takes everything Spielberg did so beautifully in the original, the spirit of which Colin Trevorro managed to capture in the first Jurassic World, and throws it all out the window. Where the heart and soul in these movies comes from great storytelling, character development, and stylish monster sequences, Fallen Kingdom replaces it with sloppy, drawn-out storytelling, one-dimensional characters, and almost continuous, cheap, jump-scare-laden dino attack sequences, all of which have no class or any of that stylish Spielberg suspense and thrill. This is not a smart or even frightening monster movie at all. It's a run-of-the-mill schlock horror monster movie, and that is not what Jurassic Park is about at all. Characterizations in this movie are incredibly poor, the villains are stock standard, and their motives predictable. In fact, the entire movie is overly predictable. Even Chris Pratt's Owen and Bryce Dallas Howard's Claire, who I'd loved in the first outing, add very little value to this movie. The writing of their characters is so poor that these two just don't have any character development and seem to have no depth. In fact, thinking back, what should have been two of the best parts in Fallen Kingdom managed to get buried underneath all the non-stop dino action. This is unfortunately not a movie about people. It's a movie about dinosaurs. And again, that is not what Jurassic Park is about at all. The best performance in this movie was delivered by young Isabella, who in her first film plays the granddaughter of Benjamin Lockwood. If this movie has any humanity or heart, Isabella manages to bring it. Unfortunately, I had very little fun in Fallen Kingdom, and I tried. I really tried to enjoy the, if I'm being completely honest, really awesome, epic action sequences with really spectacular special effects. I mean, the volcano eruption sequence is amazing, but I just couldn't find enjoyment in this movie because, to me, this just didn't feel like Jurassic Park. It felt more like generic dinosaur blockbuster movie. And if this was just any generic dinosaur blockbuster movie, I think it probably would have fared quite well, and I probably would have had more enjoyment out of it. But the fact is, this movie carries that Jurassic Park DNA, and that's something that should really be treated a lot better. I will say that the movie's first act is quite extraordinary. It sucks you in right away and makes the movie seem really promising. But it all starts to fall apart very quickly. Once the movie starts to change direction, once we move away from the island, the movie both loses any interesting qualities and completely goes over the rails. And again, moving away from the island, moving away from the park, moving in new directions should be a good thing for this franchise. But when these new directions are literally just one extended action sequence, albeit at a different location, it's just not good at all. Without spoiling anything, it's very clear that bigger, better things are being set up for this franchise's future. And while I had very little fun in this one, I'm actually given hope. I'm kind of a little bit excited for where this franchise could go in a third Jurassic World installment. The very brief glimpse we get at the end of this movie of where Jurassic World 3 could take us is exactly where I've wanted this franchise to take us for years. And in fact, something that was actually alluded to in the original Jurassic Park movie. But it just sucks that it took this movie to get us there. In fact, this movie could have gotten us there, but for some reason the filmmakers decided they needed this completely useless, overblown blockbuster between it and Jurassic World. Rating and reviewing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is very sad for me. I'd hoped to be blown away with this movie, but I've really just been let down. I'm not angry, I'm not sad, I'm just disappointed. I'm struggling to rank this one against the other movies. I don't necessarily think it's the worst movie in the series, but it's quite possibly the least Jurassic Park movie in the series, so take that as you will. Now, having said all this, I'll actually be giving Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom a very lenient 3 out of 5. Now, let me tell you why. I was very close to giving this movie a 2.5, but when the movie came to a close, something happened that kind of put everything in perspective. A kid right down the front of the theater let out an enormous "yeah!" And that alone puts everything in perspective and bumps my rating up a small notch. The fact that a child can get enjoyment out of this movie is the main thing and should be reflected in my rating. This isn't my Jurassic Park anymore, it's theirs. And while this is a deviation of the original franchise, it's a franchise for a new generation, and I'm glad they have it. However, I would personally sum up Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom as a movie which tries to take the franchise in new directions, but ends up trapping itself into becoming a generic monster blockbuster with none of the substance or style that made the original movie so special and the previous Jurassic World so exciting. Thanks so much to my wonderful new friends over at Universal Pictures Australia for inviting me to the Melbourne premiere of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom for the purposes of this review. And thanks to everyone out there for watching. If this is your first time viewing my channel, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like this in the future, then please hit that big old subscribe button up on your screen right now and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check out my many social media accounts and please consider supporting me over on Patreon. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope I'll see you all again soon. Until next time, take care, and I hope you have a wonderful day.